Welcome back to Iraqi Dinar Hub. The silence has finally broken just after midnight. Rapid movement inside PNC's private backrooms began to echo across the Dinar, Dong and ZWL communities. Verified by multiple independent insiders, an internal memo reportedly hit employee inboxes after midnight. Staff at PNC branches across Pennsylvania, Ohio, and Florida were suddenly brought into emergency briefing sessions focused on newly established foreign currency protocols. This wasn't theory. It was labeled activation. Currency holders woke to a swirl of unconfirmed messages, yet this time felt decisively different. Managers, tellers, and even corporate liaisons were all given synchronized briefings. Why the urgency? Why overnight? And why PNC? These questions have since gripped Telegram groups and financial forums. The one thing is clear: PNC has now taken a front seat in the fast-approaching revaluation tide as July nears. In this report, we break down every layer who was involved, what was said, and what this shift means for the road ahead. This isn't just another memo. It's the first clear move from PNC, a bank previously conservative with exotic currencies. Known for avoiding volatility, PNC has always been measured in foreign exchange. But this internal move shows a sudden pivot. Now, IQD, VND, and ZWL are categorized under a new pre-activation tier for qualified clients. This update follows closely behind similar quiet moves from Wells Fargo and Bank of America. According to one senior analyst, PNC is now receiving direct guidance from federal consultants. Whether this marks an immediate exchange or a phased rollout remains unclear, but the momentum is unmistakable. For years, Dinar watchers suspected a tiered process was already underway. Now, PNC's memo may be the first real confirmation of that idea. Global chatter exploded overnight, social media flooded with screenshots, Reddit threads surged past 9,000 comments, and Telegram groups buzzed with activity. Some staff even leaked memos and recaps of emergency meetings held during the early hours. Skeptics are urging caution, but even they agree the tone has shifted. Investors aren't asking if it's now about when. Trading behavior is also changing, with more secondary sales and protective hedges being set up. The PNC alert did more than just shake up the forums. It altered the psychological landscape for investors who've waited patiently through years of silence. This time, it looks like the silence has been replaced with calculated motion. Identifying which currencies were addressed in PNC's alert is crucial. Reliable sources point to the Iraqi Dinar IQD, Vietnamese Dong VND, and Zimbabwean dollar ZWL as the main focus of the midnight training. While all three have long been discussed in speculative circles, this is the first time institutional coordination across all three has been confirmed. Each of them ties into specific national reform programs or bilateral trade agreements that align with IMF benchmarks. For the IQD, the move seems to reflect acknowledgement of Iraq's economic recovery, oil-backed strategy, and tighter governance at the central bank. VND's inclusion points toward Vietnam's modernization and robust GDP growth. ZWL, while the surprise does have grounding, Zimbabwe has finalized key deals with China and South Africa that signal rising currency stability. Together, these three currencies now form what may be a new reset triangle, each symbolizing strategic global financial nodes. PNC stepping into this space is a noteworthy development. While JP Morgan and Wells Fargo tend to dominate headlines, PNC has steadily been expanding its foreign exchange presence. Its regional distribution, especially across the Midwest and East Coast, makes it uniquely positioned to service rural dinar holders as well as international urban clientele. That spread, once a quiet advantage, may now be key in a larger decentralization strategy. Insiders suggest PNC might be a test bank used to pilot what's known as a decentralized rollout. In this model, mid-tier banks handle regional exchanges under strict NDAs and segmented client rollouts. This is similar to what HSBC implemented across Asia, handling high-volume activity while maintaining operational silence. The idea is to avoid triggering panic, control traffic, and maintain liquidity oversight during a tightly managed currency re-entry phase. This isn't just about rumors, it's about repetition of evidence. LinkedIn and Reddit have shown a spike in whistleblower-style posts. One assistant branch manager revealed she participated in a 2 a.m. call with specific mention of IQD and VND listed as pending conversion assets. A New Jersey teller even posted a redacted memo instructing staff to prepare for new foreign exchange handling protocols expected to go live before the next fiscal quarter. These accounts line up in terms of timing, tone, and location, suggesting a wide network of internal coordination. Unlike previous chatter fueled by speculation, these new leaks include real screenshots, timestamps, and internal software updates. There's also confirmation of currency training scheduled in advance of branch-specific fiscal resets. This breadth and depth of data strongly points to a pre-planned implementation rather than coincidence. For long-time IQD holders, the significance cannot be overstated. If PNC is indeed preparing for redemptions, then investors in key states with high PNC coverage should begin readying documentation. That means receipts, certificates of authenticity, and proper logging of purchase dates. Experts also recommend ensuring full KYC and AML compliance well before showing up at a bank branch. The process may be heavily regulated from the outset. Some reports suggest PNC could use a scheduling system for IQD exchange sessions, similar to what Wells Fargo allegedly tested in closed-to-more beta. This would help prevent crowding, ensure smooth validation, and allow staff to follow corporate FX policy. What's changing is the sentiment IQD isn't seen as fringe anymore. It's becoming operationally relevant within financial systems that once ignored it. For VND holders, this marks a delayed but crucial institutional acknowledgement. While VND has had recognition in Asia and among diaspora-heavy US banks, this is PNC's first major reference to handling the Dong. That alone moves the VND narrative out of speculative zones and into formal banking channels. Vietnam's rapid economic growth, digital currency pilot programs, and FX modernization have clearly contributed to this moment. PNC's decision to reference VND suggests that upstream validations have already occurred, possibly from the IMF or BIS. Public holders with certified notes may soon find themselves invited to limited exchanges. This won't be walk-in traffic. It'll be appointment-driven, focused on verified clients. If true, this gives weight to the theory that VND is part of the next realignment wave. ZWL's inclusion was unexpected but not without merit. Zimbabwe's recent economic reforms include launching gold-backed digital tokens and securing strategic aid from China. Their central bank has tested pilot projects with Afrexim Bank, and financial analysts now view the ZWL with renewed interest. For the US banking sector to consider ZWL credible, a great deal must have changed quietly behind the scenes. PNC listing ZWL in its training documents implies a new price. Strategic recognition. Analysts suggest Zimbabwe could become a central currency player in Southern Africa. For diaspora holders in the US, this could be a rare opportunity to see long-dismissed notes become liquid again. What was once considered fantasy now has institutional momentum behind it and real infrastructure being built to support it. No revaluation would gain traction without some signal from global regulators. Over the past 90 days, IMF workshops, Basel III FX memos, and central bank coordination around exotic currency classifications have intensified. Internal review sessions with US regional banks often included IQD and VND on discussion lists. Even without public IMF statements, the timing suggests institutional recalibration. Just as with previous monetary resets, regulators prefer operational readiness before open declarations. That seems to be what we're seeing now. If IMF-connected training events are aligned with PNC's move, we could be witnessing the rollout stage, not just preparation. The timing matches too well to be accidental, especially considering other banks' quiet moves in parallel. Is PNC ready to start exchanging today? Probably not. Sources suggest this is a staggered rollout, meaning individual branches activate in phases based on compliance, staffing, and client readiness. This approach mirrors previous Wells Fargo models, which saw 5-zone exchange activations over weeks, not days. The intention is control, safety, and regulatory compliance. That doesn't mean the signal isn't real. It just means this is a green light to prepare, not a race to rush in. Currency holders will likely be pre-screened, scheduled, and offered private appointments rather than blanket walk-in access. The more documentation and compliance you bring, the smoother your redemption will likely be. Preparation is key, not panic. Financial experts are now speaking out. Former JP Morgan FX strategist James Bartlett said the internal memo is textbook pre-activation behavior. Dr. Aisha Patel, an economist and reset researcher, pointed out that all three currencies, ICD, VND, and ZWL, have shown up in synchronized modeling from IMF and ECB task forces. Market commentators agree. Something is already underway. Lewis Grant, a journalist known for his FX coverage, stated live that rate codes are now blinking active in back-end systems. Dealers are adjusting their spread margins, particularly for high-volume IQD and VND notes. Exotic currency funds in Singapore and Dubai are repositioning portfolios. These aren't guesses. They're moves made in anticipation of an expected outcome. Retail investors may not yet see it, but OTC movements tell the story. Trades in Hong Kong, Johannesburg, and Toronto are shifting quietly. Analysts call this low-volume positioning the tide that always precedes bigger announcements. PNC's involvement injected fresh momentum, and now even hesitant traders are back in the game. Market behavior has pivoted. What does this mean for the average investor? Prepare for 4 key outcomes. First, banks will require upgraded identity validation, think ID, tax history, and source of funds documents. Second, walk-in access is unlikely. Scheduled appointments will be the norm. Third, expect thorough note authentication. Fourth, initial exchanges may be kept to manage traffic. These aren't roadblocks, they're signs of real movement. The fact that banks are preparing verification systems shows they're planning for actual redemptions. Investors who act now, organize documents, and ensure they meet KYC/AML protocols will be best positioned to exchange quickly once doors open. Preparedness is no longer optional. Behind the scenes, PNC's IT systems are also changing. According to internal tech staff, compliance divisions have rolled out patches to allow multi-currency functionality, rate lock systems, and client logging. These aren't small changes, they're institutional-grade tools built to support foreign currency transactions at scale. These upgrades align with FX systems used by HSBC, giving further credibility to the memo. Clients may even start to see new dashboard functions in their PNC accounts soon, such as non-standard FX inquiry forms or foreign currency windows. This isn't just testing. This is infrastructure being turned on. PNC's new role invites comparisons to Chase and Wells Fargo. While Chase hit headlines earlier this year for leaked IQD rate codes and Wells Fargo confirmed FX training, PNC is different. Its strength lies in its regional access to communities often overlooked by big city banks. That reach now becomes a major strategic asset. In fact, analysts say regional rollout may depend on banks like PNC to handle large volumes discreetly. They're better suited to operate quietly and efficiently, an essential quality in a reset strategy focused on minimizing chaos. PNC may not be a spectator anymore. It may be the delivery mechanism for the new phase. Social media validated that idea overnight. Discord servers tracked every PNC employee leak. Telegram forums lit up with images, documents, and recordings of internal calls. Influencers who once doubted revaluation shifted their stance, saying the level of confirmation here is unprecedented. Even longtime skeptics were moved. The credibility is what changed. It's no longer just hype, it's coordination, structure, and evidence. That's new. For the first time in years, the belief is unified. Community leaders are calling this a turning point. The message? Be ready. The window might be opening sooner than expected. ZWL's sudden spotlight deserves deeper focus. Since 2024, Zimbabwe's Reserve Bank has pushed gold-backed monetary systems and launched carbon credit trade platforms. With China and Russia providing real financial muscle, Zimbabwe is not isolated, it's being positioned as a regional hub. The issuance of Zimbabwe gold tokens and upcoming digital assets has drawn attention from BRICS partners and beyond. These developments were foundational, not experimental. Now, with PNC's involvement, It appears ZWL is entering a new institutional phase that few saw coming. Vietnam's position also cannot be overstated. GDP is rising, over 30 trade agreements are in place, and digital payment systems are already live. The central bank has even undergone IMF reviews and World Bank evaluations of its digital infrastructure. VND is now globally recognized. As BRICS Plus partnerships deepen and FX corridors open with India and Russia, Vietnam is becoming a top-tier financial player. That reality makes PNC's decision to include VND logical. For public holders, it means the waiting period may be ending and onboarding may begin. Iraq remains at the center of it all. With sweeping reforms passed, the central bank now has more authority than ever. Parliament has greenlit sovereign bond projects and rig reviews. Iraq's oil reserves, along with its fiscal discipline, now offer a credible backbone to the IQD. The timing of PNC's memo suggests acknowledgement of this maturity. If IQD is now being addressed in US financial systems, it likely means Iraq's return to global currency status has been accepted. That is not just NewsIt's validation of years of waiting and watching, but the risk is rising too. Scammers are launching fake emails and appointment links. No legitimate bank will ever ask for your banking credentials in exchange for an appointment. Stay cautious, verify through official channels, and don't share sensitive info. The opportunity is real, but so are the traps. Be sure to contact your bank directly, visit official sites, and avoid risky third-party platforms. Only trust sources with a verifiable track record. Even in real revaluations, compliance is king. IRS rules, FinCEN alerts, and Treasury oversight will play major roles. As July approaches, monitor your bank dashboard, email notifications, and personal advisors. Early steps include updating ID, organizing notes, and retrieving proof of purchase. It's time to prepare like the door will open because for the first time in a decade, it just might. This could be the controlled ignition one that introduces new liquidity into global systems while lifting long-dormant currencies into legitimate circulation. If that happens, holders of IQD, VND, and ZWL may be first in line for this generational wealth event. In short, history is shifting in real time. With PNC's midnight confirmation, we've officially crossed into preparation, not theory. The financial world is adjusting. The window is opening. For those ready, opportunity now stands just one step away. And that brings us to the end of this critical update from Iraqi Dinar Hub. As the midnight silence gives way to real institutional movement, it's clear we're entering a new phase one marked not by speculation, but by preparation. If you've held on this long, now is the time to get your documents in order, stay alert, and remain cautious of misinformation. The signals are aligning, the systems are warming up, and the path ahead is unfolding in real time. If you found this video helpful, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to Iraqi Dinar Hub, and turn on notifications so you never miss an important update. We're here to walk this road with you, every step of the way, because history is being made, and those who are ready will be the ones who benefit. We'll see you in the next one.